I will do my best with ThoughtSpot to show how quick it is for business users to come in and get answers. So this is the new homepage in ThoughtSpot. And so I'm just going to ask a question about what are my top selling products. So I work for, let's say I'm a product manager for a retail apparel company, and I want to ask that question. And so this is going to give me a view of all the different answers, what we say, the results of a search that have been created. And so I come in and I see total sales by product. I select it here, and that quickly I'm into an interactive view of the data. So I see the travel duffel, and maybe I want to understand, I want to drill down on that, and I want to see it by store to see which stores are selling the travel duffel the best. And this view, maybe I want to then sort it so that I can see the top stores, and I can see that Illinois store, and obviously this is test data, but the Illinois store is doing pretty good. Now, what's really interesting here is if I want to understand maybe the difference between, a top store and a bottom store, we have a great feature that we can do in our view to do comparisons. We can run analysis, or I can just save that as a piece, but I can drill down multiple layers. I can really interact with the data. But I think what you guys want to see, what everybody wants to see, is the live connect to Starburst and how this is created, how you create as an administrator or typically an analyst, how you create this experience. And so when you're looking at the homepage, and I jumped over to another instance because this is fresh off the presses. This is our new release that was announced yesterday. We've had a beta with Starburst running. And so as of yesterday, we've started rolling out in our cloud product the actual connection here. So you can see here I have connections. I have a couple connections to different sources, but you can see here now that I have Starburst as an option. So I'm actually going to be connecting to the same data that Ben was connecting to from a different perspective. So when we go to Starburst and we continue, then we get the connect information for our Starburst cluster. And I'm just going to grab that here. I have to copy and paste the URL and the password. So you'll have to forgive me here, real live demo situations. So you put in your credentials. You can list the database if you want to filter down the results, but I want to show you guys what you get when you see all of the databases in one. So when you have your username, your password, again, this isn't every user that's connecting. It is the high-level users. And just as you were seeing in other tools, you can see all of the different sources that are here. And so we're going to look at BigQuery and Burst Bank, of all things. So I have 3 tables, and when I click on those tables, I see all the columns in those tables. Now, I can selectively choose which columns I want, and we can filter by that. But in this case, I want to bring them all in. So just by clicking on this top button, we can bring in all of the different pieces, and you can see the different items in here, right? And so now we create a connection. It tells me that there's 3 tables and 41 columns, and we're creating that connection. What's happening now, as you see the little dots there flashing, is that we're going into the Starburst instance and we're pulling back all of the metadata for those particular tables, and we're creating objects in ThoughtSpot that allow you to then interact with that data. So if we want to look at the account table and see that we have a customer key and an account key and different products and different things like that. And so I can immediately then go in, if I want to create some joins between the different tables within my connection. And again, if I ever want to get back there, I can see my connection. I can see that it's labeled as a connection to Starburst, and I can really get in and interact with that data and work with that data. And then when I go to my search, I can actually either do a search across everything, or I can choose to do a very specific search on a data set. So I'm going to pull in that table, the account, the product profile, and the state census. Go ahead here. If I don't know what columns I want to search, I can see those here on the side. I can see all of these different pieces, but let's say I want to see basically the average mortgage balance. So I can type an average as a keyword in ThoughtSpot. So I can say the average mortgage balance. And as I start to type any word, whether it's at the beginning or in the middle, it will show me all of the suggestions. And these suggestions are actually driven by user behavior. So we just created this connection, so our system's kind of taking the best guess. But as users interact with this data, the more they work with the data, the better they have. And so if I do this without any kind of attributes in there, this is a measure and we're getting an average. And so it's 3.4. Well, that doesn't have a whole lot of context. And so what we want to maybe do is look at the different pieces. So let's look at mortgage residence type. So let's break it out by that. It's quick and easy to do this. And then we're pulling that data. Now, if you want to change your chart type, it's super easy. We pick what we call the best fit visualization, but you can, set your own visualizations here. You could have a pie chart. You could have, a scatter. You'll notice some of these are grayed out. The reason that they're grayed out is because the data that we've selected doesn't match that. And it tells us you need two attributes in one measure. So if we added in, for example, mortgage officer, if I wanted to break it out even more that way, I can simply do that. And then as soon as I'm ready for that, and then notice because of that, it doesn't have that information. So maybe I want to do a heat map and pull in all of that data and be able to see by mortgage officer. So these are all my mortgage officer names are kind of obfuscated, but I can see how it breaks down by mortgage officer. So that's the quick demo. I do want to show one last thing under the I tab. You can see how the query visualizer works and actually see the SQL that's being run against your Starburst cluster.